Surprise, surprise, YouTube is one member of the Life Gain Avengers of Current Culture. It's your boy, the original starter of the Lamont Tyson's channel. It's Lamont Tyson, baby. And I'm here for all my fans, the real fans that know that the best medical show on TV right now is The Resident. And we're going to go through The Resident, episode 3, season 4. It took us on a little bit of a ride, and we're going to discuss it and break some of the point plots down. And if you're finding me for the first time, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. That's how we get generated in the YouTube algorithm. That's how we push this channel, because we do so much more on this channel than just TV. We also do movies. We also do stocks. We also do current events. We cover a lot on this channel. We love the audience that joins us. And tonight, we're going to talk about The Resident. Again, I said it, damn it. The best medical show on TV right now is The Resident. And before we get into this review, let's kind of recap some of what went down in this episode.
They're selling the hospital.
The last thing we need to do is panic the staff.
You okay?
There's something about Chastain you should know.
An accident.
Now I'm going to try and save your surgical crew.
What you said, some BP are falling?
The Resident.
I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all missing out on The Resident. So this episode starts out with, we've got an issue going on at Chastain Hospital, ladies and gentlemen. Chastain is about to be sold by Red Rock. Why? Because we just had coronavirus. They wasn't getting these electoral procedures so they can make money hand over fist, because they had to put patient care above patient profits. And so now Red Rock, being the BlackRock type of firm that they are, has decided, you know what? We're going to wash our hands of Chastain Hospital. And ladies and gentlemen, think about the memories they're trying to wash away. We've been living with these people for 3 years now. We have fond memories of this hospital, and they think they're just going to come and get rid of them like that. Oh, hell no. They're not going out without a fight. So Dr. Bell, he finds out that the new person who's kind of the CEO is trying to get rid of Chastain. They're not planning on buying it no more. So he comes up with an elaborate plot, ladies and gentlemen, that he is going to try to save Chastain. And we'll come back to that in a second, because his plot work, I think it's going to work, but we'll just have to see where it goes. And so then after that, we pick back up on Mina and Dr. Austin. Now, here's the problem we've had with Mina and Dr. Austin. Mina, in essence, went behind AJ's back and told the patient about Dr. Cain's misgivings, his bad behavior, his unscrupulous behavior toward patients. Now, Mina and AJ Austin, they're dating, they're sleeping together, and Mina is his resident. He's her preceptor. And she went behind his back when, in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, AJ probably should have stepped up to the plate. But he found himself in a situation that a lot of us brothers who have been able to get to a certain level find ourselves in. It's not a lot of us around. We know that it's harder for us to get where we're at. And sometimes you want to see another brother do it on it. You want to see a brother do it. You want to see him give him a second chance. So I feel like AJ tried to give Dr. Cain a second chance, which is why he didn't want Mina to say anything. So from there, I kind of feel like we know Mina. Her personality is harsh, hardcore, straight to the point. There's not a whole lot of funny with her. I knew from jump that she was going to go ahead and spill the beans. But we picked back on this episode with them talking, and they set ground rules for their relationship. We've got to keep our professional relationship here, and we can take our relationship with each other outside the hospital. But AJ Austin still laid down the law. I was like, look, Mina, you my resident. And then she threw it back in his face. Well, that means if I'm your resident, it ain't going to be no more touching up in this hospital. And He looked a little salty about that, like he can't resist her right now, but we'll see what happens. And then we get Nick and Dr. Hawkins, Conrad Hawkins. Y'all might know him from the show The Good Wife. And of course, y'all know Emily Van Camp. She's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, baby. And in this episode, they talked a little bit about them. They found out they was pregnant last week. And anyone who's had a kid, you know that the initial part of the baby can be rough. You know, the first couple of weeks you go through, because those are some of the most rocky times. You really, really worry, is the baby going to make it? And so they did one of those CVS baby tests, and she's pregnant, but now she's kind of wondering if she's really pregnant. And ladies and gentlemen, do I think that she's pregnant? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This will be a good way to continue this story. So I do believe that Nick and Conrad are going to have their child. Now, for the twist of fate in this episode, they get called to the ER because we have this huge pylon crash. Right here, you see our boy, Dr. Cain, comes up on the crash. And guess what? While he's helping, somebody rubbernecking hits him. He did manage to save a lady, so he's a hero. But when he gets to the hospital, ladies and gentlemen, this brother is in bad condition. His ass is in bad condition. He's a neurosurgeon. He can't feel his hands. He goes through all this trauma throughout the episode where they have to operate on him immediately, but then he's got some fluid in his pleural space. From our respiratory therapists out there, it's called pneumothorax. AJ Austin's got to operate on him. But more importantly, Dr. Kit has got to operate on him. Dr. Kit's sitting here with Dr. Bell. In the last season, Dr. Cain almost killed her son-in-law because of negligence, which would go back to the fact of what Mina is saying. AJ need to rat on him, but he didn't. He tried to have a bro integrity code, so he didn't rat on him. But he almost killed her son-in-law being negligent. And so she's the one that's going to have to perform the surgery on old Cain Chestnut. That's what I'm going to call him, Dr. Cain Morris Chestnut. And while all that is going on, Dr. Bell unveils to Kit that Chastain could be sold by Red Rock. And so his plan, if you guys remember, they gave Dr. Bell a TV show, kind of like he's Montel Williams on the street in Atlanta. You know, just he's a white version with hair. And so his show has been gaining popularity. And to try to prove that Chastain has a lot of value to offer anyone who would own them under their umbrella of equities, he decides to film his surgery. Now, I can tell you right now, people who like to film surgeries and things like that, they blow up on TV. Think about Dr. Pimple Popper on YouTube. This chick blew the hell up because she was lancing bumps on TV on YouTube. Now she's got a TV show. Dr. Bell, brilliant move. And so they decided to operate on, you know, they didn't want him to have too hard of an operation, but they ain't want to be nothing lighty. You know, you can film an ant stitching a hole, so they didn't want to do nothing that simple. So they decided to operate on this black dude named Emmett. Okay, Emmett has a huge social media following, which all that goes right in line. Even Emmett himself said, "Use me, baby, but don't leave me no scars, because women follow me because of my body, not because of my looks." You know, so Dr. Bell chooses him, and Mina at the time doesn't understand why Bell is going to do all this filming with him. And she will later on in the episode figure that out, and we'll get back to that in a minute. And so then our girl, Nurse Nick, gets a patient into the ER who sees the film crew filming whatever Dr. Bell is doing. And this patient is leery as hell of cameras. And then she sees herself on TV. And when she sees herself on TV, she passes out. Boop, instantly. She just falls to the floor. She's saddened. And so they're trying to figure out, okay, well, what is wrong with her? You know, she's seen herself on TV. And that's when they realize they've got to call in the FBI to figure out what's going on. And when they do call in the FBI, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe that this chick is in witness protection? Her name is Ava, and she's in witness protection because she testified against an organization, which they'll later reveal, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And so as we continue talking about Ava and what she's going through. We see this sketchy dude pop up in the hospital after the FBI explicitly says she needs to be in and out of here quickly. She needs to be somewhere on her own. No one can see her. We see this dude pop in the hospital that looks like a thug or one of those QAnon boys, but he really looks like Bucky Barnes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what it really looked like. That's who he really looked like. And so he's up in there running around, and you got to be thinking he's a sketchy character. He's probably somebody in the gang that she ratted on. And we later find out, ladies and gentlemen, that no, that's just not the case. We find out that this is one of her long lost loves, Ava's loves. And he wanted to come see her because he couldn't find her because she went into witness protection. And we later learn she goes into witness protection because she done her American duty to rat on people doing insider stock trading. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this picture off. I'm going to tell you something that burned me up. Nothing makes me more mad. Them MFers running around here talking about pull yourself up by the bootstraps, do everything, work hard, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. You can be Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan was taking steroids. And that's what their asses was doing too. They probably would get in front of every camera and tell you capitalism is the greatest system in America. You just got to say your prayers, work 6,900 hours a week, and you too can prosper, when their asses was lying there with insider trading. And I'm glad she told on them in this fictitious story. But anyway, fictitiously, she's in witness protection and she's stuck. And she's trying to get away from these people because the FBI feel like they're going to come back for her. So this brother that looks like Bucky Barnes, she left him because she didn't want his life to be threatened either. And he was telling her basically, look, I love you. I don't care about being threatened. You are the one for me. I know it's a big undertaking, but as long as you let me bring my dog, I'm gonna come. So, you know, that story started to seem like it's ending with a good ending until she falls and collapses again. And we later finally find out that she's got a blood problem that had went misdiagnosed. And of course, you know, Dr. Conrad Hawkins, the saver doctor, not a saver hole, but the saver doctor, he figured out what was going on with her, and he was able to save her from that issue. And then let us not forget about our boy, Dr. Pravesh, this brother right here. Now, Dr. Pravesh has been going through it this season because he lost his father to COVID, and he never really got to see his father's face before he died. So he has a patient that comes in who wants to be alone. He doesn't want to see his family. Dr. Pravesh is like, look, I lost my dad. It's rough. Maybe you should contact your people. Homeboy tells him, look, just be my doctor. I don't need to hear your sad love songs. If I wanted to hear that, I'd turn on Tony Braxton. And you know what? His ass kicked the bucket. And Dr. Pravesh is taking it hard because he's not really got over the fact that his father died. And it's starting to, at times, creep into his work. He's starting to, you know, reminisce about it. It's deterring him mentally. And I think at some point in time, Dr. Hawkins is going to have to step in and be like, look, bro, you need to take some time off. Or he's going to be caught up in the menagerie, thinking about him and his dad's relationship, and do something horribly wrong to a patient. You can book that. That is going to happen with him. And now that we're past that, we'll get back on to the meat and taters of this story. And that is old Morris Dr. Cain Chestnut. So he's rushed to OR because they're trying to save his hands, but they got to call in AJ Austin to fix the pneumothorax, drain the fluid from around his pleural space. All right. Okay. Well, Kit was nowhere to be found, and it's time to start the surgery. Would you believe that the damn resident said, well, he lets his residents start surgeries when he's not even here, and they start operating on the brother. And they are the reason why he got the pneumothorax in the first place. Now, they showed a scene where he pops up out of the bed as if someone was daydreaming, and then they go back to normal. Then you see his hand twitching. So you about wonder if he was feeling pain through the surgery, if his cognitive functioning was all over the place because he overheard the residents starting without Kit. But in the end of the day, they was able to get the surgery done. I'm assuming they got him stabilized. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is in limbo if he's alive or not. And so they kind of left on that note. And Dr. Bell was able to finally tell Mina exactly why he decided to film at the hospital, and Mina understood it because Mina was giving him a hard time about filming. She thought he was doing it for his own nefarious purposes, when it turns to find out he was doing it to try to save Chastain Hospital. And on the other note, Mina did come clean to one person about her relationship with AJ Austin. Of course, it was Nurse Nick. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was an okay episode. It was okay. I really like the storyline that's going on between Dr. Austin, Mina, and Dr. Cain, because at the very end, Dr. Cain was asking AJ, are you going to testify against me in my case against the family that Mina ratted on? And of course, he asked AJ who ratted, and AJ ain't telling on Mina. Nah, he ain't going to do that. But you just wonder if Dr. Cain is going to come around after he's had this shakeup in his life. AJ Austin gave him this wonderful speech about he was happy to see one of the world's best surgeons come to Chastain, not only a best surgeon, but be a brother, and was hoping they could have some kind of bond, some camaraderie, some brothership, but they can't because he's really not that type of dude. He's a cutthroat, cut corners. I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed, and I don't care as long as I don't get in trouble. And AJ Austin is not like that. AJ Austin, even though he's great, he has integrity and he has ethics. So I wonder where they're going to go. I got a feeling they might kill Dr. Cain. I just don't see how you can take that character and revamp him to something subtle, something sweet, a nice rosy package. And yes, ladies, I know y'all going to be very sad they take this brother off the show, but you know what? I won't skip a beat. Plug in a new villain or a new antagonist, whatever you want to call it, and keep the show going. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my review of Season 4, The Resident, Episode 3. Post your comments down below. Let me know if you finally broke down and started watching the show, because I've been hyping it up. And if you've been watching the show, let me know how you feel like this season compares to all the other seasons. I can't lie. I kind of was digging the other seasons a little more than this one so far. This one doesn't seem to measure up to the drama it's had in the past seasons. But I'm going to still watch it. I'm going to still cake up for them. And I'm going to still say they're the best medical show going right now, out of pure hate to Grey's Anatomy. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Thank you all who tuned in tonight. Y'all are hardcore, man. I didn't expect anybody to really tune in here to catch me by myself, but I'm glad you did. And until that next Sexy as Hell live stream, which will be tomorrow night with the fellas, I'll see you.